The invite to the governor's annual charity gala had been sitting on my kitchen counter for 7 days when Mom phoned. It was her yearly fundraiser, co-hosted with Dad, aimed at supporting kids' schooling. 500 attendees, including the region's top influencers, all in formal attire. "Lauren, we should talk about the gala this weekend," she stated, her tone holding that usual sharpness. "Your dad and I agree it's wiser for you to skip it this time." I was in my home workspace, going over funding requests for the organization. 20 submissions seeking support, each tied to efforts that might transform young lives. Why? The attendees are particularly refined this year. The governor, lawmakers from the state, key benefactors, folks who give massive sums to worthy efforts. We wouldn't want you feeling out of sorts in such elevated company. I glanced at the organization's ledger on my desk, the same one I'd used recently to issue a $1 million contribution to the state's learning program. The donation that positioned me as the governor's top private supporter. I get it. You know your behavior at these gatherings. You become withdrawn. You're unsure how to converse with accomplished individuals. Your sister Melissa is coming with her spouse. They know how to navigate the crowd, how to engage with contributors. You simply seem misplaced. My organization started with the legacy from Grandma Ruth, managed $50 million in resources. I dedicated half a decade to turning it into one of the area's leading charities for learning. Yet I kept all this from my relatives. "I see," I replied softly. "I figured you'd agree. You've always been sensible about embracing your boundaries. Not all can handle high society, and that's totally okay. You have your small charity volunteering. That suits you better." My small charity volunteering. As creator and head of the Hartwell Foundation, I oversaw a team of 12 and allocated $5 million each year in learning subsidies. Appreciate the heads up. No problem, dear. And no need to contribute financially. I realize funds are limited for you. Your emotional backing means plenty. She ended the call. My aide, Jennifer, tapped on the door. "Lauren," the governor's team rang. "They're checking if you'll attend the gala this Saturday." Evidently, the governor aims to express gratitude in person for the learning program support. He notes it's the biggest one-time gift they've gotten. "Let them know I'm coming. Your mom is co-leading that occasion, isn't she? She has to be thrilled." I stayed silent. The following day, the governor's top aide, Michael Torres, reached out personally. "Ms. Hartwell, the governor intends to highlight key supporters in his address Saturday evening. You're at the top. Your $1 million input revolutionized our reading initiative. We'd love you at the main table." "Michael, there could be an issue. My folks are co-leading. They're unaware of my organization activities." "Quiet. So they don't realize you gave $1 million to the state's learning effort. They don't know I manage a foundation. They believe I handle volunteer paperwork at a charity. Ms. Hartwell, you're the governor's primary private contributor. You've backed initiatives touching thousands of kids. How are your parents in the dark? They've never inquired about my job. They figure it's minor. Additional quiet. The governor particularly wants to acknowledge you openly. This will likely be uncomfortable, right?" "Likely. What's your plan?" I recalled Mom's words. "We can't include you at the charity gala." About 5 years of them belittling my efforts without ever probing what I truly did. "I'll attend. The governor can honor whomever he chooses. My parents' misunderstandings aren't his concern." On Saturday night, I put on a deep navy dress I'd bought for organization functions. Refined, subtle, far from the awkward person Mom pictured. At 7, I reached the Grand Hotel's event space. The entry path was crowded with formally dressed participants. At the doorway, Mom and Dad were with the planning group, welcoming everyone. I approached the entry path by myself. Mom's friendly grin stiffened upon spotting me. "Lauren, why are you here?" I explained we concluded you shouldn't come. "Evening, Mom. I'm attending on the governor's invitation." "The governor's invitation?" Dad appeared puzzled. "Lauren, this is an upscale affair. The governor isn't acquainted with you. Miss Hartwell." Michael Torres showed up, offering his hand. "The governor anticipates greeting you. He's keen to show appreciation face to face. Follow me, please." Mom clutched my arm. "This must be an error. My daughter isn't listed. Ms. Hartwell has a spot at the main table, Mrs. Hartwell." Prime placement fitting our top contributor. Michael's manner was courteous yet firm. This direction, please. He guided me beyond my parents' stunned expressions into the venue. Sparkling lights overhead, pale flowers, settings with fine dishes and golden utensils. At the primary table, labels indicated positions for the governor, regional leaders, and significant supporters. My tag stated, Lauren Hartwell, creator and head, Hartwell Foundation. The governor came over right away, a tall gentleman in his 60s with a warm grin. Lauren, at last, we connect directly. I've aimed to express thanks since your $1 million support came in. That aid shifted our reading effort entirely. Governor, it's a privilege to back the cause. Learning is the foundation's core focus. Your organization has made huge changes. Beyond the learning effort, the Countryside School Aid, the Educator Development Scheme, the award program. You've achieved more for kids in this region than many larger groups. Various other attendees gathered. Regional lawmakers, learning overseers, charity heads, all familiar with my efforts who'd gotten aid or partnered on initiatives. Lauren, your award scheme rescued our area. The school chief mentioned, we'd have lost our creative classes without that help. The Educator Development Aid was ingenious. A college leader chimed in. We've noted clear progress in teaching results already. From afar in the space, I noticed Mom and Melissa gazing. Dad was speaking hastily with an event planner, all of them observing me. At 7:30, the agenda started. Following the meal, the governor stepped to the stage. This evening, we honor remarkable kindness. Our learning effort this year marks our top fundraising drive yet, gathering $3 million for kids' reading and school initiatives. Cheers echoed through the area. Yet I must spotlight one individual whose input was pivotal. One supporter who alone supplied a third of our overall amount, who trusted in this goal so much that she dedicated her own assets and her organization's backing to reshaping learning in our area. He faced me. Lauren Hartwell, creator and head of the Hartwell Foundation, contributed $1 million to our learning effort. Lauren, rise please. I rose, my pulse racing. Flashes went off. Cheers surged. The Hartwell Foundation has discreetly aided kids' learning for 5 years. Countryside schools, educator development, awards, reading schemes, all supported by the Hartwell Foundation. Lauren has allocated over $20 million in learning aids, touching tens of thousands of kids. She embodies the finest in charitable guidance. The cheers persisted. The governor motioned for me to approach the stage. Lauren, representing the region and the kids whose futures you've altered, thank you. Your insight and kindness have generated chances that otherwise wouldn't be. He gave me a clear trophy, the governor's honor for charitable distinction. We stood for pictures as flashes kept going. From the stage, I saw my parents distinctly. Mom had turned completely pale. Dad's jaw dropped. Melissa was rapidly messaging on her device. After the honor, I went back to my place. The regional lawmakers and learning officials offered congrats, chatting about upcoming partnerships and appreciating current aids. The school chief bent close. Lauren, I must inquire, are those your folks at table 12? The occasion co-leads. Yes. Do they understand your organization efforts? As of roughly 5 minutes back, he regarded me knowingly. That has to be tricky. Indeed. Over sweets, Mom showed up at the main table. Her cheeks were red, her words clipped. Lauren, may we chat alone? The governor saw. All good, Mrs. Hartwell? Yes, Governor. Just a quick word with my daughter. Certainly. But I trust you're set to share how thrilled you are. Her organization has accomplished amazing things. Mom's grin was forced. Yes, so thrilled. Extremely thrilled. We moved to a calm hallway. Once solitary, her poise shattered. Why keep this from us? You lead a foundation. You gave $1 million. You've handled this for 5 years without a word. You never inquired, Mom. You presumed my job was trivial and never dug deeper. You allowed us to believe you were barely scraping by, doing volunteer sorting at some minor charity. I mentioned I handled charity operations. You interpreted as you wished. But $1 million gift. Where did you acquire such funds? Grandma Ruth's legacy. She bequeathed me $2 million upon passing. I applied it to launch the foundation. Mom's gaze expanded. Your grandma gave you $2 million. She only gave me $50,000. Since she trusted I'd apply it to 8 others. She knew you'd use it for status seeking. Dad emerged, just as rattled. Lauren, the governor informed me you're the area's top private learning supporter, that you've allocated $20 million in aids. How? I placed Grandma's legacy in smart investments. The foundation has expanded greatly, and you never considered sharing with us, involving us in this. You claimed I lacked refinement for tonight's gala. You said I'd feel uneasy near achievers. Why reveal my organization efforts to parents who view me as insufficient? Melissa arrived. Her cheeks flushed. The whole place is buzzing about you, about your role as this big benefactor, and we were clueless. I feel foolish. My own sibling. Sorry my achievements inconvenience you. The governor questioned why we weren't marking your efforts together as kin, Dad noted, his tone tense. I had to confess we were unaware. Do you realize how that reflected on us? Like guardians who ignore their daughter's existence, which is true. Mom's eyes teared up. People are murmuring. The planning group, the supporters, all. They're implying we're distant, that we're not part of your world. Lauren, you've shamed us. I've shamed you. You excluded me from this gala thinking I fell short. The governor's primary supporter wasn't accepted at her parents' own fundraiser. The governor's top 8 appeared. Ms. Hartwell, apologies for cutting in, but multiple supporters wish to connect with you. Possible team-ups for the foundation. Naturally, I'll join shortly. As I pivoted to go, Dad seized my arm. Lauren, wait. Could you inform folks this was a mix-up? That we knew of your efforts and aimed to astonish you? You want me to deceive to safeguard your image? We're your guardians. Guardians who didn't see me as refined enough for their circle. I'm not deceiving for you, Dad. Facts are facts. I headed back to the venue where charity heads, nonprofit managers, and company leaders sought talks on alliances. For the following 60 minutes, I discussed aids, initiatives, outcome measures. This was my domain. What I constructed silently over 5 years as my kin undervalued me. Near 10 o'clock, the occasion planner neared Mom and Dad. I was nearby enough to catch his soft remarks. The group wants to review co-lead roles for next year's gala. Considering tonight's issues, we believe adjustments are wise. Mom's expression fell. Dropping the co-lead role signified losing prestige, connections, sway, all she cherished. The next day, the tale spread widely. Area's top learning supporter excluded from parents' fundraiser. Images of me getting the governor's honor. Pieces on the foundation's 5-year effects. Opinions on guardians, so detached they ignored their daughter's major charitable role. Mom rang at 8. Lauren, we require crisis management. The elite news is ruining us. Folks label us as careless, detached. We're losing spots on groups. That's regrettable. Regrettable, Lauren. Our standing is crumbling. You must repair this. I didn't cause it, Mom. You did by deeming me inadequate for your upscale gathering. We were unaware. How could we know you possessed millions? You were meant to inquire about my existence, to express curiosity in my job, to cherish me no matter the wealth. Dad joined the call. The governor's team issued a note lauding your foundation. It notes you were initially excluded from the gala. Lauren, that portrays us awfully. Then perhaps you shouldn't have excluded me. We're kin. You ought to shield us. You ought to have shielded me. You ought to have embraced me. You ought to have felt pride in me prior to the governor's public reveal. Melissa messaged, Mom's collapsing. The whole crowd is discussing us. Can you act? I ignored it. 3 days on, the governor's team contacted. Ms. Hartwell, we'd appreciate you on the Area Learning Council. Your knowledge and charitable view would be priceless. The governor is naming you directly. I'd be privileged. The naming hit the news. Additional images, additional pieces, additional open acclaim for my efforts. Mom attempted again 2 weeks on. A weepy call expressing regret, about misunderstanding, about seeking another opportunity. I require space, Mom. You devoted 5 years to undervaluing me. Apologies can't wipe that. How long will you penalize us? I'm not penalizing you. I'm safeguarding myself. There's a distinction. 6 months on, the foundation hosted its yearly celebration. Supporters, aid receivers, learning pioneers, all assembled to mark the year's successes. The governor came, along with area leaders and charity managers. My parents lacked invitations. They viewed images online. Me alongside the governor, with lawmakers, with the kids from our backed initiatives. The existence I'd formed without them, the esteem I'd gained, the effects I'd produced. Mom texted, "You appear stunning. I'm proud of you." I gazed at it long. Pride given post-public acclaim, post-societal fallout, post-others' initial validation. In time, I answered, "Thank you." It wasn't absolution. It wasn't mending. It was recognition of her presence, no further. Since I grasped the key insight, my value wasn't set by my parents' notice. The governor recognized my worth. Aid receivers valued my efforts. Thousands of kids gained from my foundation. My parents' oversight was their flaw, not mine. They claimed I lacked refinement for their fundraiser, but I had enough to finance it, to alter lives, to gain a governor's honor, to construct something meaningful. And I'd achieved it all as they presumed I was sorting documents in some underground space. The foundation kept expanding. The aids continued. Kids persisted in gaining knowledge. And my parents discovered the sensation of exclusion from something vital, not for lacking merit, but for missing what was precious right before them. At times, the finest triumph is the one no one anticipated.